This is The Space Shot, episode 299 for March 9th, 2018. From Gagarin to Columbia, I'm John Molnix. We are just one day away from episode 300. I would love if you could share the podcast with your friends and family. I'm producing more and more original content every day, and I'd love to share it with even more people. If you share the Space Shot on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, even old-fashioned email, between now and tomorrow, so it is ending soon, I have a Space Shot mission patch that I'll be sending you. So, share away. Tag me in a post, send me a screenshot, email me, whatever you've got to do. Don't delay, share the podcast today. I'm doing something slightly different for today's episode. Today marks an important birthday in space history. Yuri Gagarin, the first human sent into space, was born on March 9th, 1934. 62 years later, on March 9th, 1996, the Space Shuttle Columbia landed at Kennedy Space Center, successfully completing STS-75, a nearly 16-day-long mission. The 62 years between the birth of Yuri and the launch of Columbia saw incredible historical and technological transformations around the world. Gagarin was born during the Great Purges that Joseph Stalin instituted during the years leading up to World War II. While a child during World War II, Yuri was exposed to aviation, which started his fascination with flying. World War II was also a very transformational time for space technology. Nazi Germany began to develop the V-2, the first ballistic missile. This rocket was a stunning technical achievement, but it wasn't as effective of a military tool as the Reich had hoped. The end of World War II saw the United States and the Soviet Union both vying for control of those V-2 rockets and the scientists that were part of that program. Operation Paperclip was the code name for the U.S. effort to secure Nazi scientists and materiel at the close of the war. Temporary allies, the United States and the Soviet Union during World War II, became Cold Warriors at the conclusion of that war. The rocket technologies based on the V-2 would lay the foundation for the early space flights for both the Soviet Union and the United States. The space race began with the launch of Sputnik on October 4th, 1957, and later Explorer 1 lifted off on January 31st, 1958. Both of the superpowers went from having minimal rocket technology during World War II to both being able to launch satellites into space by the end of the 1950s. It was only a matter of time before humans would be launched into space as well. April 12, 1961, is the day that a human first flew into space. Yuri's flight on Vostok 1 orbited the Earth one time and returned safely. The Vostok 1 capsule was designed for a single occupant. The primitive systems were nothing like the spacecraft that would launch in the ensuing years. Yuri's Vostok 1 and the space shuttles that would launch decades later couldn't have been more different. The shuttle Columbia that launched in 1996 carried a payload into space that was twice the weight of Yuri's Vostok 1 capsule. Columbia could ferry 7 astronauts into space and stay for over 2 weeks, compared to the 1 occupant of Vostok. I compare these missions not to diminish Yuri's flight, but to illustrate how much has changed over the decades. During this time, 2 former enemies developed a working relationship in space, helping to ease decades of tension with the shared goal of space exploration. I'd be incredibly grateful if you could share the podcast with your friends and family. Tag one of them and let them know about your favorite episode. I'd also really appreciate it if you could venture into the Apple Podcasts app or your podcast app of choice and leave a review for The Space Shot. A steady stream of reviews helps ensure that The Space Shot is more visible in the Apple Podcasts app. As always, the show notes have more information on today's episode. You can hit me up on Instagram and Twitter. Find me at John Molnix. I'm always up to chat. You can also connect with me on Facebook. Just search The Space Shot or click the link in the show notes and you'll find me. Tomorrow, episode 300. I'm John Molnix, and I'll catch you on the flip side.